The glass doors of the luxurious office tower slid open with a soft whisper, and people in expensive suits walked quickly across the shining marble floor, their voices low and their eyes fixed on their phones. No one noticed the small boy standing near the entrance, clutching a little woven basket with both hands. Inside the basket were his most precious belongings, tiny toy cars, a small plastic robot, a red ball, and a few other toys that had been his only friends during lonely afternoons. The boy, whose name was Leo, looked no older than 5, with messy blonde curls and bright eyes filled with a strange mixture of hope and nervousness. His black shirt was slightly wrinkled, and his shoes were worn, but he stood bravely in the grand lobby as if he had come for a very important mission. People walked past him without a second glance, but Leo didn't move. He kept looking toward the elevators, waiting for the one person he had heard about all morning, the billionaire heir who owned the entire building. Leo took a deep breath and held the basket tighter, whispering softly to himself that he had to be brave, because today wasn't about him. Today was about his mom. Leo's mother worked long hours cleaning offices in the building after everyone else went home. Sometimes she came back so tired that she fell asleep at the dinner table. Leo had heard her once whisper to a neighbor that she wished she could just have one single day off to rest. That simple sentence had stayed in his heart like a promise he had to fulfill. But Leo didn't have money to help her. All he had were his toys, the only things that made his small world bright. The night before, he had carefully placed each toy into the basket, telling them they were going on a special mission. This morning, he walked into the giant building and waited for the billionaire heir everyone talked about, the man who could supposedly change people's lives with a single decision. Minutes passed, and the lobby slowly became quieter. Then suddenly, the elevator doors opened, and a tall man in a perfectly tailored suit stepped out. People nearby straightened their posture instantly. Some even lowered their voices. The man was Daniel Carter, the young billionaire heir who had recently taken control of his family's massive company. Confident, successful, and powerful, he walked forward with calm authority, until he suddenly noticed something unusual. Standing directly in his path was a tiny boy holding a basket of toys. Daniel stopped walking. His assistants froze behind him, confused. The lobby seemed to pause for a moment as Leo looked up at the billionaire with wide, hopeful eyes. The boy stepped forward slowly and lifted the basket toward him with both hands. His small voice was gentle but determined as he spoke words that made everyone nearby stop breathing. "Mister. I heard you're very rich," Leo said honestly. "So I brought you my toys. You can have all of them, if you let my mom have one day off." For a second, the world seemed completely silent. Daniel stared at the basket filled with colorful toys, then looked at the boy's innocent face. Something inside the billionaire's chest tightened in a way he had never felt before. No business meeting, no billion-dollar deal, no boardroom negotiation had ever surprised him like this moment. Leo waited patiently, his arms slightly shaking from holding the basket for so long. To him, this was the most valuable trade he could offer, his entire treasure for one day of rest for the person he loved most. Daniel slowly knelt down until he was at the boy's eye level, studying the toys carefully as if they were priceless jewels. The entire lobby watched in stunned silence as the billionaire heir reached out his hand, but instead of taking the toys, he gently pushed the basket back toward Leo. Daniel's reaction left the boy completely speechless. A warm smile appeared on the billionaire's face, but his eyes looked slightly wet as he spoke softly, "Kid, these toys are worth more than anything I could buy." Leo blinked in confusion, unsure if that meant his deal had failed. But Daniel continued, his voice now filled with emotion that surprised even his assistants. "You don't have to trade your happiness for your mom's rest. I think your mom deserves much more than one day off." The boy's eyes widened as Daniel stood up and turned to his staff. "Find out who this boy's mother is," he said firmly. "Starting today, she gets paid leave for the entire month, and if she wants, a better job here too." Gasps quietly spread across the lobby as people realized what had just happened. Leo looked from his basket of toys back to Daniel, still trying to understand the miracle unfolding in front of him. The billionaire bent down once more and gently ruffled the boy's curly hair. "But I do want something from you," Daniel added with a playful smile. Leo tilted his head. "What?" The billionaire chuckled softly. "A promise that you'll keep being this brave and kind." The boy nodded slowly, still amazed, while people around them whispered about the unbelievable moment they had just witnessed. And as Leo hugged his basket of toys tightly again, he realized something important: sometimes the smallest hearts can create the biggest miracles. If this touching story moved your heart and reminded you that kindness can change the world, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because many more emotional and unforgettable stories are coming your way.